Ukrainian forces are now keeping up the fight against the Russian invasion. U.S. defense officials say the Russian military east of Kyiv has been pushed back to 34 miles outside of the capital. And to the north, Russians are now in defensive positions. Let's bring in ABC News national security and defense analyst Mick Mulroy, along with ABC News contributor and former senior CIA field operative Darrell Blocker for more on this. Mick, we're now a month into this conflict. When you think back to when this invasion started, what's your reaction to where things stand right now?
So, Diane, I think that it's shocking to many to see just how effective the Ukrainians have been in repulsing this invasion, and quite frankly, just how incompetent the Russian forces have been in almost every level of the principles of war. From picking an objective and not going after every objective to a unified command, we don't even know who's in charge, and to their just horrible logistics and communications. But it really has allowed the Ukrainians to turn the tide. And now they're on the offensive. And I think we need to look at what we can provide them in this phase, the offensive phase, but what they can do to enhance their abilities to repel the Russian invasion. And that would include transport, that would include vehicles and aircraft that they can maneuver on the battlefield to really get after the Russians.
Now, Darrell, in Brussels today, President Biden ignored a question on whether the use of chemical weapons by Russia would be a red line. But UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson later responded to that same question, saying Putin has already crossed a red line of barbarism. Do you think there should be a special response for chemical weapons, or is it all bad?
I think chemical weapons are just heinous. If you've seen what they actually do to the body, anyone who does that will know that it is a crime, a war crime. I think establishing red lines is always precarious, because if you don't live up to whatever you said you're going to do, then what's the point of having red lines? I would avoid them if at all possible, whether the United States, NATO, or the UK.
And Mick, the Ukrainian Navy claims it destroyed a ship at the port this morning, which is occupied by Russian forces. Verified video circulating online also does show a ship burning in that port. So assuming this claim is true, how significant is that?
Very significant. A lot of people were wondering why the Russian naval infantry, what we would call our Marine Corps, had not landed to try to take Odessa, the key port city that's left, and that would essentially cut the Ukrainians off from the sea. One of the reasons was because they might have been concerned that the Ukrainians had these types of weapons. So it is significant, and it could make the Russians adjust in their entire plan for the south of Ukraine, and just how they're going to create this buffer, this land bridge between Russia and Crimea, and then Odessa, and how they would actually cut the Ukrainians off from the sea.
And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy spoke to NATO allies this morning. Now, the first portions of the $800 million in military aid to Ukraine have now been delivered. Darrell, I wonder, one, how much of an impact they will have, and two, what do you think of Zelensky's request to NATO leaders today to give Ukraine planes and tanks? He said, give me 1% of your planes, give me 1% of your tanks.
I still think that under bilateral relationships, the Polish government, the Polish military could send the MiG-29s directly to the Ukrainians. They don't need a NATO angle to it. The request is valid, just in the sense that it's out there, and that now Putin knows that the NATO folks are meeting, discussing red lines, discussing chemical weapons, discussing provisions and material provided to the Ukrainians. So I think it's significant. I think it's excellent. And I think Putin and the Russian Federation are on the ropes.
All right, Mick Mulroy, Darrell Blocker, thank you both.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.